Hey friends, it's your girl Tab with the Talks with Tab podcast. I am super excited to chat magic, motivation, and everything in between. Whether you're listening in your car, your headphones, your work laptop, or wherever you are, get ready and let's get to it. Hey y'all, hey, how are you doing? I'm so excited every time I get a chance to be in your earbuds, your car speakers, your laptop speakers, or wherever you may be listening to the podcast from. Such an honor. So this episode, I'm going to dive into a few listener questions. So I did a poll on my Instagram stories. I asked my team, I sent out some messages, and I was like, what do y'all want me to chop it up on the podcast about as we, kind of creep out of summer into fall, into that last swing of 2024? What do you want me to talk about? And I got a few questions. So let's dive right into them. So one is how to stay afloat in the current economy. And I'm going to answer this from a tab angle, right? So a few different angles meshed together. Number one is an answer that I would give you in, I guess, any time, is that it's just understanding your business model, what you offer, who you offer it to, and all the things thereof. Because a lot of times as I'm, working with entrepreneurs, early stage business owners, there's a gap in understanding who you're actually selling to and who your customer is and what that customer value is and all of those things. That's very, 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 very important to know as you shift and go through changes in your business, because if you don't know, then you don't know. And so you may not know, what to cut or what to add, or how to maybe upsell on some clients that you already have, or how to go back into the archives and offer something that you used to offer, or how to take something that you already have and repackage it. So I just challenge you to dive deeper into understanding your business, your numbers, and your customers so that you can identify what you need to actually stay afloat. And I'm going to go heavy on actually, because it may be a time for you to say, okay, these are some of the things that the business wants to do. These are some of the things that business has to do and needs to do, and separating the two, right? And even when you look at who or what it takes to run, being very lean in that, not just with humans, but speaking specifically to solopreneurs, what systems, right? Have you checked your statements or your app or whatever you use for your banking information to say, I have this subscription and I haven't touched this piece of software all of 2024. Maybe you need to throw that in the trash can and cut that subscription off. If it is something that you are utilizing, maybe you need to see, is there something that I already have that also does this thing, right? So let's just say, for example, you are using a system for client management. You're also using a system for scheduling. Have you checked to see if your client management system also has a scheduling tool, or if there is something that you can do to merge the two, just to see if there's any way that you can cut costs, and not just costs, but just cut the amount of things that you have to log into and remember things for. So that's my take on that. Next question is getting rid of the fluff when you are just starting off at the thick of things. I think this question came from a very early stage entrepreneur asking like 3 things you actually need to get started. And I'm not going to answer this from the perspective of like your LLC, your business license, your trademark. I'm not coming from that angle, your business bank account, EIN. Like, I'm not even coming from that angle. Okay. Like, so all of that stuff, absolutely. Right. But I'm going to come with 3 things that I think you need just as a human, right? So where is your mindset? Okay. Where is your mindset? How have you worked on yourself? Because I want to let you know, if you haven't already, become aware that if you have issues or traumas or unresolved pain, or you have money, just issues or scaredness or trouble or whatever, that's going to show up in your businesses. So if you have not at least begun the work on some of the things that you may struggle with in your life, do that. Okay, do that. Second, what's your grit looking like? Okay. Like, what is your grit and tenacity looking like, especially for my girlies that are still maybe working and trying to bootstrap building the business on the side to either be a sustainable side hustle to supplement your income and or something that you want to one day say, I want to utilize this to use my job. Whichever one of those it is, baby, what is your tenacity and grit looking like? Because it's not easy, right? I know that sometimes you get on Instagram or Threads or Facebook or YouTube or wherever and see the girlies living their best life, right? You got to work to live your best life. Like, you don't just wake up one day and it's like, oh, snap, I left my job and I'm just doing this and I'm selling this digital product, or I'm just showing up at this event and someone's paying me. 9 times out of 9.5, it doesn't work like that. And there's a lot of work that you have to put in to get to that stage. So I just want you to take assessment of yourself. So 2 kind of just really builds off 1 of like, take an assessment of, you know, what have you worked on? Have you assessed how much you're willing to get up and go? How hard are you going right now, right? So when you get off or you're on your lunch break or whatever, you know, free time, quote unquote, that you have, how are you using that, right? What are you doing to make sure that you're building something sustainable, something that you can leverage, something that's going to be, you know, long-term? What, you know, classes are you investing in? Do you have a coach or a mentor or someone to help you along this business journey? Are you, you know, really invested in looking at other people in your industry that are a few steps ahead of you in the same space as you and like light years ahead of you, just to really audit and figure out what the heck it is you even want to do? And number 3, are you, I don't want to say this. How are you allocating funds towards the growth of the business, right? So oftentimes, especially when I have my coaching and consulting hat on, people are like, oh, well, I couldn't get a grant and I couldn't get this and nobody wanted to do this and da-da-da-da-da and whoop-de-whoop-de-wham. What is your personal skin in the game, right? And so I often ask them, because in some versions of Tab, I sit on the other side of the table reviewing grants, and I'm like, whether they're small business and or nonprofit and or, you know, just human capital, whatever, right? What has this person, this entity, this organization put in to be able to get something out, right? Especially if it's self-started. I want to know what skin you have in the game before you're looking for someone else's investment, someone else's support, right? Same with don't start this thinking like, oh, your brother them, your cousin them, your homegirl from 2nd grade has to be your customer. They don't have to be, like, right? What if they don't need what you're providing, right? That doesn't mean they don't support you, they don't love you, they're not excited for you, but they really might just not need it, friend. So, you know, sometimes somebody might be hating, somebody might be jealous, but I promise you, majority of the time, that's not it. They just don't need what you're selling. And depending on what you're selling, they may be, you know, out of their range or their scope or whatever. So how are you personally on the fiscal side preparing for this thing that you want to start? What dinners or trips or whatever, or Shein carts or whatever it is that's your thing, what is it that you're sacrificing in order to have some working capital to get this thing going, right? Last one for the girlies on the submission is how to prepare for Q4. And it really just depends on how you did in Q1, 2, 3, right? So Q4 could be utilized to hit the gas, like, right? Push it, right? To the limit. If you have been in your stride all year or you've been at this for a while, so you know Q4 is your time to shine, it may be time to hit the gas, right? For some of you, it may be time to let up a little bit. Like, I've gone hard all year. Q4 is for me to kind of smooth sail and get ready for the next year. And for some, it's just a mix and mangle because we don't know what the year has been, right? We all have those years. Not every year is going to be a super productive year. So I think a big thing for you to do, kind of going back from the last answers, is to check in with yourself. because the answer that applies to Susie may not be the same answer that applies to Allie, or it applies to Tab, or applies to Stacy, or applies to Shanita. Like, the answer probably varies based on the person, their life situations this year, their business this year, their personal commitments this year. So the answer just varies based on where you are. So the biggest thing you need to do is check in with you. I really can't say that enough, because oftentimes I think whether we do it on purpose or just by happenstance, because we have so much access to information and what other people are doing, it is really easy to get caught in comparison. So you may get on the gram and say, oh snap, so-and-so is going hard. They're selling something before the end of the year. They got an event before the end of the year. They launching something before the end of the year. And it makes you feel like you need to just get in there. And it just may not be your time for that, or vice versa. Whereas you're going hard and you see someone that's just like kind of chilling and smooth sailing, and like, am I supposed to be over there? You're supposed to be where you are, okay? For the 1908th time or more, keep your eyes on your own paper, stay in your own lane, keep your blinders on, right? Keep your blinders on. So focus on what you're doing, because your Scantron doesn't look like mine doesn't look like yours. So whatever is working for you, whatever it needs to be for you, do that. So those were the 3 submissions that I received. A bonus one was like how to prepare for the new year. And I say it's a bonus because she did not submit this, but we were like chatting over Caesar salad for lunch. And a colleague was like, how do you plan for the year? And so I typically do annual planning, like with myself. And then for the last few years, I've done it with Audra Richmond from the Unclone brand. And it's been very, very refreshing. Just taking the time to really deep dive at what worked last year, what didn't work last year, what was on the vision board or the task board that I never got to. Do I want to take it over? Do I want to say, like, I don't even want to do that anymore? Assessing where I am, looking at my blackout days for the year ahead really helps, right? Looking at things like I'm already committed to boom, 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 boom. So I need to go ahead and block this off on my calendar, because there's no way I can take a speaking engagement if I've already committed to this for my sorority, or this for my mentoring group, or this for a speaking engagement that I always do on this 3rd Thursday in February. Like, just going ahead and blocking that off. Even personal time. Like, if you know, I don't work on my birthday, or I don't work on my husband or my wife or my spouse's birthday or my kid's birthday, or, there's just something coming up that you just want to do, like blacking those things out. 10 out of 10. That has helped. But also just taking the time to deep dive on what has happened and what you desire to happen. It helps because the curveballs are going to come, right? What we say, life be life, and like, life is going to life. Things are going to happen, seen and unforeseen, expected, unexpected, ups and downs. Like, it's really just a part of life, not to make it light, because some things can come and punch you in the throat. But nonetheless, it's going to happen. However, I am 10 toes down and around that when you have a plan, you can adjust the plan. When you don't have a plan, it really is nothing you can do, and everything just feels like it's going da 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 da. So I challenge you to do that as you prepare to step into a new year, because the way these days flowing, it's 2025. I was writing somebody a check the other day. Yes, I still write checks. And I actually signed it 2025. I had to write it over. But nonetheless, thank you so much. I adore, oh my God, I adore it. I adore when you all submit questions, when I ask for feedback and you share. Also, if you've been peeping in on my Instagram, I've kind of dropped some nuggets as to what might be coming down the pipeline. So maybe it's a book, maybe it's a speaking tour, maybe it's an event, maybe it's all of them, maybe it's me back coaching, one-on-one or group. Who knows? But I will be releasing the information very soon. So stay tuned on all my social platforms. If you're on my email list, that's reviving. Stick in on LinkedIn, because I'm really going to be dropping magic there. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Wasn't that good? Yes, 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 yes. If you want to keep the conversation going, find me at www.tabithadjames.com or at Miss Tabitha D _ on most social media channels. I cannot wait to connect with you, to keep the conversation going, to hear what your major takeaways were. Okay. Something coming. So if you are following me, I'm sure you've seen I've been back outside mixing and mingling, being at events, posting more content, doing a little bit more in front of the scenes than behind the scenes. So I want you to mark your calendars. I'm going to be having an in-person event in January of 2025. I will be sharing the dates, deets, and all the things really soon. Additionally, the year is going to be jam-packed with opportunities for you to engage with me, my team, and some of my amazing business buddies to kick your thing into high gear. So if you love the podcast, you love the things I put out on social and on my sites, and just all of the ways that you see me kind of construct this career in life that I have, you are sure to enjoy what is coming down the pipeline. But haven't really made it public yet, but that's what you get when you listen to the podcast. You get the exclusive. So until next time, friend, I'll catch you later.